What's up, Game Boys and Girls? Big T here, back with another video. My audio might be a little bit off because of the way I have my mic set up right now, but we're going to do a fun little video on my Nintendo 64. This is the Pikachu edition, which was, people thought it was going to be kind of a slim thing. This is a revision of the N64 that has a giant Pikachu on it, as you can see right here. Putting my other camera here. And it's a really cool console. Apparently the price shot up. I had no idea as expensive as it is. But what we're going to do is we're going to clean this bad boy up. I've had this for a while. It's getting a little dusty. But we're also going to mod it to play North American games, because this is a Japanese edition. There is a North American one that's a little darker in blue. I don't know how this is going to come out in my camera. It might look dark blue here, but this one is a little lighter blue. But the North American one is a darker blue. So I have the controller over there. I don't know why I didn't bring it over here so you can see it. But this is the Pikachu edition here. And as you can see, he has his two little feet here. Let's see if you can kind of, too much light there. That foot does nothing, but this is actually the reset button, which is kind of cool. And then the Pokeball is actually the power button. Power on and power off. So right now it's powered off. All right, and obviously it has the slot there. That is a regular jumper pack. I might upgrade that at some point, but I rarely play on this one. This is kind of a collection piece, a display piece, if you will. But in here we have the North American version of Pokemon Stadium, which is not, as you can see, not fitting because it needs to be modded. Now, the cool thing about the early Nintendo hardware was that modifications wasn't like a real hard thing to do. It wasn't really on a hardware level, so to speak. It was really something that was stopping games from actually going in to the North American console. So the Japanese games had a different back on them. I should have probably grabbed one. Let me grab one. All right, so you can see the difference here. Maybe I should put it in this camera. As you can see, the back of it is a little different there. I'll put it in this camera as well. You can see the back is different from the North American. This is the North American version. And see, these little divots are different. So the Japanese ones will stop, or the North American ones will stop in the Japanese console, and the Japanese cartridges will stop in the North American console, PAL, etc. They all have different little divots. And that happened on the NES, the Super Nintendo, and the Nintendo 64, where all you really needed to do was either replace the backs of these, or go down and you could either saw off the little plastic piece down inside your cartridge slot, or, you know, or what they do today, which we didn't have that option back in the day, is to just do a 3D print of the little cartridge tray. And I'll show you mine here. This is actually a 3D print of the cartridge tray, and this is just, it's completely open, so anything can slide down in there, no problem. Nothing's blocking the cart from going down into the slot, and see, there's no divots. You'll see on the Japanese one, when I pull it out, it has little divots that will keep North American and PAL region carts out of there. So it's really simple. So what we're going to do first is we're going to clean it up. I forgot what they call this. This is some kind of I forget what a game bit. This is a game bit driver, and it's useful for, I think, N64 might be the only one. Maybe some other. It might be Super Nintendo as well. I don't know. I think Super Nintendo has these weird kind of screws. They call them game bit, and my audio might be a little weird, like I said, because my mic is set up differently. But I have to have it here because of my setup here, my camera and whatnot. So, all right. So here you have the Pikachu edition in 64. As you can see, it's much longer than the regular N64. See that there? As you can see, comes out a little further there. It's a little bigger, but it has all the same hookups, obviously. This is also a Japanese N64, but this one has a new cartridge slot inside there, modded or whatever. So it will take North American carts, as see there. No problem. All right, so what we're gonna do first is we're gonna pop this bad boy off, or pop this top of this off. And so we're gonna go ahead and take the drill bit or the game bit and gently, because it's not exactly perfect apparently. You don't want to strip it or anything, that would suck. So we're gonna go ahead and take these drills, these game bits out. And this has never been opened as far as I know. You can kind of tell from the screws and how they feel a little tight. You get that little pop. Hopefully the microphone picks that up. You can hear a little pop as you turn the screw. So this has probably never been opened. Unlike later consoles, there's no like sticker, warranty sticker or something to prove that it hasn't been opened. All right, got a few out now. I'll shake those out before I end up losing them. Put those to the side there. Let's get this one out. All right, I don't know if the camera's picking up the dust on this thing, but it's been sitting in the shelf for a few years now. And dusting can only do so much, you know. So I'm gonna take these off. All right. Really shouldn't be banging it like that. This is, like I said, a now expensive console. The North American one is a little bit more expensive than the Japanese one. I'm not sure why, but it's basically the same console. Like I said, the North American one has a darker blue. And I just lost or dropped the screw down there. All right, so how did we got them all? No, one more here. I started it. All right, let's go ahead. I mean, N64s are pretty sturdy. I'm not worried about a little tapping of it right there. So this should go ahead and release the top. Unless I'm forgetting something else. Am I missing a screw? Is there one behind this sticker? There is. There's one back there. So that's how you know. There technically is a warranty sticker. And it doesn't look like this has ever been moved. Oh wait, there's nothing there. So that's not a screw. So I'm doing something else wrong here. So let me put that back. Oh, does that come off? Oh, that's sad. It's probably never been stripped before. I don't know. I thought it was like cleaner than that before. Anyway, so I'm just doing something wrong here. So let me just kind of shimmy around the console. All right, there's no screws in there. There's no screws there. Feels like there should be another screw up here. Is it? Oh, it's the jumper pack. Boop. So make sure you take out the jumper pack first, because that's holding onto the board. Derpy derp. All right. So I use this to pop it out. Just got to be careful. And it feels like this jumper pack has never been moved. So that might be proof also that this hasn't been messed with internally. Is there screws down there? Yeah, but they are connected to the board, so that should do it. All right, here we go. All right, so there are wires that we don't want to break that are connected to the power button, Pikachu's foot. But there's something else going on back here in the back. I felt like I got this off, so why, I'm not sure. Oh, there's a what? There's a screw left. Doofus. So don't do what I do. Make sure you've gotten them all out. There, it wasn't that on there tight or anything. But still, I'm trying to ruin this thing, apparently. Alright, so as you can see, as you lift up a little bit, there is a little connector. So just go in carefully. Just try to find a way to lay this down without putting pressure on it. And pull the board apart there. Very simple. All right, so as you can see, that's what we're getting at. So, but first, actually, let's go ahead and take that out. So you can see there's regular screws in there. So let me grab my regular Phillips. And let's get down on into that. There we go. This is too big, but just barely. So I'm just going to be careful. Put these over to this side. Trying to make sure the camera can see what I'm doing here. And this is pretty cool because this one's clear. It doesn't really matter because it's not like you can see down here often. I mean, you'll never be able to see. So there's the door. You don't want to mess around and push this down while this is open because you got springs holding the flaps there. But yeah, so as you can see, if I get close to the camera here, if it wants to focus, there's little divots. See that one there? And there's one there. And again, depending on the shape of your cart, let's see if we can do it here where we can see. So this is a North American cart, and those little divots will stop it from going all the way down. But here's a Japanese cart, and they're perfectly designed to fit into those little divots, right? So there you go. So we're going to replace that with one that doesn't have any divots and somewhat matches, but not really. It's a different yellow. It's a little sad. I thought it was the same yellow, but it's not. But whatever, that's fine. We're going to go ahead and replace this. You can't really put this on wrong. So there we go. Over the slots. Let's go ahead and put the screws back. Oh, wrong one. These are Phillips, not game bits. So Phillips screws back in there. This is a very simple mod. You know, you're not soldering anything. You're not removing the game board, the motherboard, or anything like that. All that stuff is safe down there. All right, so the top of this is pretty clean. So I'm not even going to worry too much. I'm not going to mess with it at all. I'm not going to clean in there at all. But I will clean, the inside top. The top here actually needs a little cleaning. Let's put that to the side for a second. And then if you look here on the heat sink, it's a little dusty. Not too bad, actually. So I got myself some little wipes. Where are my wipes? Oh, they're over here. Just little Cottonelle wipes. You know, these are pretty plain. There's no bleach or anything like that in them. They're pretty much water-based. And I'm just gonna dab on in there. Get this cleaned out. And then when I'm done with that, I'm just gonna take a dry paper towel and get, I'm not even touching the board with this. The board looks pretty fine from what I see. So I'm not gonna mess with the board at all here. I'm just cleaning on the outside, getting a little bit of dust. It's really not that dusty in here, but I can't in good conscience close this without wiping it down. I'm gonna get allergy going. I'm very sensitive to allergies, to sneezing. I don't mess with anything with little dust on it, or certain types of perfume, cologne my son wears. He wears a little too much. You know how we used to do back in the day as kids. We just put on too much of that stuff to impress the ladies. All right. I might not even need to use a dry wipe. Like I said, this isn't very wet at all. It's just slightly. I'm just gonna clean in there. Clean it. That's good enough for me. I'm not gonna touch the board at all. It's fairly dry. I mean, if you want to be extra careful, go ahead and be extra careful. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna grab one of my crusty socks. I'm just gonna wipe it dry with my crusty sock. There. That's good enough for me. Not bad at all. All right, before I put the top on, or top back on, I should say, I do want to clean this. It's a little easier to do. And this I will be a little bit more, it's not rough, but a little bit more precise in my wiping here. I'm just gonna, because it is kind of crusty. Pikachu around Pikachu's crevices. Pikachu's crevices is a little crusty. There's a sticker on here. I don't want to get that too wet. It's authentic to the system, so don't want to mess with that. It's in Japanese. I can't read it, whatever it says. It's pointing to something. Maybe it's pointing to the foot. The little arrow. Maybe it's telling you that's the power, or that's the reset, even though it says reset right there in English. But yeah, this is the Japanese console. And like I said, the North American one looks almost exactly like this. But I think it's a little, maybe it's just pictures that make me think it's a darker blue. So if you look in there, that's actually a darker blue than what's out here. But again, this is a little, it does have some yellowing, this one does. I can see, you can see it on the power button specifically. You can, that there's some yellowing going on. I'm gonna do something later on to try to get rid of some of this yellowing, which is weird to have yellowing on a blue cased product. I don't think I've ever seen that. But all right, my crusty sock, or should I say my trusty sock? I'll get that to wipe it down. This is a clean sock. Well, at least I think it's clean. All right, just wiping it off. Wiping off the excess. Pikachu looking kind of shiny now, shiny and clean. Like I said, nothing too crazy. And now to test out before I go back, as you can see, the North American cart goes all the way down in there. That way it'll connect to the leads, to the motherboard there. So that's it. I think that's it, right? Yep. So now we're going to put it back together. Little sock residue. You probably want to clean it a little better than I cleaned it. Actually, there's some gunk down in here. So I'm going to, down here, what do you call it, in the jumper pack port here. So I'm going to clean that out a little bit better. Get that out of the crevices. You gotta take care of your crevices. That's where the funky stuff happens. It gets nasty in the crevices. Alright. Yeah, the power looks fine. The power, I guess I can, just a little bit. There's a little dusty in there. I'll go up and get the bottom of that. A little dusty in there too. And I think I bought it when I was in Florida. Pretty sure that's when I got this, when I was in Florida still. And I let it go a little bit over the last few years since I've been back up in Massachusetts. Alright, so that's all good. It looks good now. So I'm gonna take this, bring this back in, and it's definitely dry by now, because like I said, there wasn't so much going on in here. And I'm gonna go ahead and hook up this board, which is the power board, the power button board. You can't really mess, well, I guess you can pull these wires too far, but that's pretty easy there. All right, let's put this back in. Put it back down. All right, what's the holdup here? What is the holdup? There's something that line. Oh, maybe it's the power button. Yeah, power button. Okay. All right. So never force it down, because you never know what it could be. Now there is some gunk in the little port here. I mean, I'm not sure how much I can do. I'll probably get a Q-tip. That's probably better, just to get a Q-tip. Dab it a little bit in water. just to make it damp, not to make it freaking, you don't want it dripping down in there. Yeah, it's fine. It doesn't look bad. All right, so let's go ahead and put these screws back on the bottom first. Put the game bits back in there. I ordered it from eBay. It's like $7. If you have a 3D printer, you could do it yourself fairly easy. You probably already know that. But back in the day, before being able to buy this stuff on eBay or 3D printing it yourself, I just opened my N64 up and filed down those little took it out and then filed down the little divots that blocked the carts from going in. That's how I did it back in the day. So that's also an option. You don't have to buy something. I just want mine to look neat, Put the jumper pack back in there. I'm gonna get a transfer pack, or not transfer pack, I'm in a expansion pack to make it nicer, or to just upgrade, because that's how you upgraded back in the day. There you go. Back in there nice and neat. You put your expansion port cover back, and there you go. Nice and clean, ready to go. Let me grab my controller. And there's the controller. It's a little, actually I should put it in this camera. It's a little better. It's a little crusty. So I'm gonna wipe that down real quick too with the wipe. Alright. Just wipe it down. Make it nice and clean as well. It's got a little gaming goo on it. I really haven't used this all that much, the controller either. And if I remember correctly, the analog stick on this is pretty snappy still. That's what happens sometimes when you buy a used N64 controller. Is that a scratch? I never noticed that. You buy a used N64 controller and the stick is very loose. That's what she said. No. Let me get my trusty sock to dry it off. Okay. This worked out pretty well here. All right. So it's good and shiny. Put it up to this camera. There you go, nice and shiny. And snappy stick. Sure. I rarely, I haven't really bought any used. A lot of the all my N64 controllers are used. I haven't really purchased any from anybody online or anything like that. But that's one of the things people complain about a lot is the sticks. Oh, the sticks get loose on the N64 controllers. They suck. But none of my sticks are bad. They all are pretty snappy. I think I did replace one. It was a little loose. I bought a replacement stick, which I don't really like because it's not quite what this is. This is it's a muscle memory thing. So, but yeah, there it is. And now it's that simple to mod your N64, your Japanese N64, or your other region N64 that's different than your region. But the only thing about, you can't play unless you're in Europe. Actually, I don't even know if you can anymore because the standards have changed. You can't play you can't play PAL games on your only Japanese. You can't play PAL games on your North American, and vice versa. You can't play you can't play PAL games on your Japanese N64 because of the standards difference. It's like 50 frames per second instead of 60, and so the games they just don't recognize it. I'm not technical. I don't really understand completely, but I did that. I bought Rakuga Kids with the PAL version because there is no North American version. There's only PAL and Japanese. I bought Rakuga Kids. It's a fighting game, really stylized, cool fighting game, and it just did not work. and it's really sad about that. So I had to basically, I think I bought did I buy a repro? Because I don't think I had. I don't think mine's Japanese. I think I have the English version, and it works in the North American and Japanese console. I think it's a repro. But yeah, so there it is. Perfect. I wouldn't recommend getting this version of N64 at this point. I mean, they are expensive. I got this for pretty cheap a couple of years ago. Less than 150. But this thing is like twice that expensive, almost twice. Not almost. It is twice as expensive as that. $150. I think it's in the $300 range right now, which is insane. But that's going to just continue to happen with the N64 and consoles with a lower sale. That's how it is. Rarer consoles, especially variants, are going to be more expensive and just get more expensive every year because they get rarer and rarer, and people just keep them all to themselves, and there's just less on the market. But I always did like this little N64 thing here, little logo at the top there. That was cool. But yeah, that's my video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, not a hard mod to do if you want to mod it yourself. And this is one of the easiest consoles to reach and unlock, if you will. But yeah, that's my video. Thanks for watching and listening, and I'll see you fools next time. Peace out.